So from what I've been able to learn, basically there's just 4 screws right here that should hold this case on, the outer case plastic. And so you want to be careful, don't drop the screws down inside there. There are 2 screws on this side as well. I guess I turn this around so I could show it. But then of course they're behind these deals here. One's by where you plug in the power cord and the power supply there. And the other 2 are by the expansion ports. Okay. Alrighty. Now, as I understand, this can be a problem sometimes, hitting this here socket where the power cable plugs in. But we cleared it just fine. Okay. This isn't dirty inside. These screws are loose, so somebody's been in here before. So this is where the CMOS battery lives. Is right in here on this panel here on the underside of the unit. All right, so we can just loosen these, I think. I don't need to come all the way out because it's slotted. Right. Okay, this is already loosened here. This one here is not. So maybe somebody just missed that one. Okay, we got one over here. Yeah. And then this one here this one will not need to come out either. We just loosened. I think most of this thing's actually designed so that you don't have to take the screws out and lose them. All you have to do is loosen. Then it slots in right here. That's pretty nice design, actually. All right, let's set this aside. So here is our CMOS battery. It is held in place by a zip tie. That's not unexpected. We'll just clip that bad boy off of there. Here we go. Let's take that out of there. All right. Oh yeah. TL5114 came off. It's not a AA battery now. It is a AA size, but it's 3.4 volts. It's a lithium battery. And it is a 5104, not a 5114. Let's say I paid no attention to how that came out of there. That ought to do the job. You're going to need a new zip tie. I was hoping to put a zip tie. I still can later. Right this second, just not convenient to do so. Well, that'll make it easier to change for the next guy. Won't require tools anyway. Now it looks like this one. These 2 screws here have to come out. And everything else just gets loosened. So this one here is already loose. This one is loosened. And this one is loosened here. And at least in theory, this comes out now. Let's see. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so that just creates a little box to feed the cable into here. That's pretty neat. I was a little concerned when you push that in there, what does it go? You know, where does it go and where might it get into trouble? But it's not an issue. Look at here, that's our picture tube right there. We'll want to be careful around that. There is a connector here, and this mounts in here. Okay, so that pulls out of there, and that comes out of there. Then we can pull our nasty keyboard cable out straight. We can just remove that. And the nasty pieces it wants to leave behind. That foil, I feel like that foil could cause me grief. Alright, cable connect. The keyboard cable is out, which means we could theoretically, at least, go ahead and do something with that, I guess. So I did find something that was more than a little bit upsetting here. Obviously not the end of the world, but this little tab right here for the front bezel mount is broken. Maybe I can glue it back together, and maybe it just doesn't matter that much. The screw actually does clamp what's left. That's not the right size. I want to get that screw out of there so that we can't forget it. And then I want to salvage the pieces if I can. Yeah, that's sad. But it probably will still cinch just on what's left there. Maybe we could try to glue it back together. When I'm looking at how much foil this thing is dropping in here, it kind of changes my plans. Because I thought maybe we could just get a basic assessment of what we got here, and maybe we still can. But it does give me pause. Anyway, let's get the front bezel off of here. There's our brightness knob. Just came off. Okay. That needed to happen anyway. Oh, I see. We have another broken tab here. Yeah. Yeah, let's get this front bezel off. Don't bust it up anymore for us. Okay. Yeah, that's ripped out of there. That's ripped out of there. Alright, let's try and get these other ones out. They're actually holding something. They're over here on this side, so let's try to record that. Okay. I think this whole thing might have just turned into a thing. There's another one here. Another broken one. Just comes off. Alright, what's this hooked up to? Well, it's not hooked up to anything. It looks like it. This guy over here. Set him down about like so. That's supposed to be hooked to something. Hard drive LED. Probably goes to one of the expansion cards. Somebody disconnected it and never put it back. So sadly, we've had almost all the mounting tabs come loose. Either come loose or break completely off of the front bezel. If you look here, you got this one still attached. The metal part for this one came out of the plastic. Similar situation on all four of them here. Probably it was holding together until I went to try to turn the screws, and that's when they all broke. Here's our front bezel. Take this glare guard off. So, yeah, this should be actually quite simple to get painted up, I think. And it does look like, at least from here and for now, it would be an option to replace the hard drive in here with the GoTech and maybe do something else with this floppy, assuming that it's going to work. So you get the floppy drive working, put the GoTech in here, then we'd have the option to boot with floppy disks, or you know, to use floppy disks or to use the GoTech. Nostalgia wise, I think that's the hot setup. The old hard drive, that's cool. I'm sure it'll click and bang pretty good, but I don't think we lose too much by losing that in favor of a Compaq flash. Whereas if we just took the floppy disk drive out and replaced it with the GoTech, I think that would kind of suck. Bummer on this, man. We'll try putting some super glue and gluing it back together, and maybe that'll fix it. There's no doubt that I can get it glued back together. The question is, will it hold up? That's where the question comes from. Luckily, anything that's going to show is still in really nice shape, so we'll be fine there, I think. All these tan parts I would like to paint. I bought some a satin black. That's the word I'm looking for. Satin black. Satin black, and I guess we could probably paint the GoTech case to make sure it's going to match, because it may not be a perfect match. So if we painted the adapter and the GoTech, the front of that satin black along with the rest of this, I think that looked pretty good. And this knob, I think we could either paint it or leave it, and I'm really leaning towards just leaving it this color. We'll try it. I mean, we can always go back and paint it later if we just think it looks ugly. Alright, y'all, well, it's several hours later in the day, and I believe I have made some decisions. So, I got a couple deliveries. I got my floppy disks I ordered in. I think there's like 10 of them. 10 floppy disks. So that's nice. So I have some real floppies now. Parts for the GoTech mod came in. So here we have that's the knobs and the orbital switch dealy bob. This one here seems a bit longer than the other one I had, so maybe I'll use it instead. So now that the one I ordered came in, and I'll just put this one back in the Amitlum. So yeah, I think the hot setup is go ahead and get the keyboard fixed up. We'll get the new cable on there and whatnot. Then what we can worry about, then we can plug it together and work on it and assess the computer without worrying that it's dropping conductive foil all over the motherboard and other components. And I think that's probably a better way to proceed. So I saw
I watched some videos and I saw a guy do this, and it just separates the case. There's another bunch of screws got to come apart to disassemble the keyboard. So the actual keys and the foam pads and all that. I don't think we have to worry about all that exploding on us by taking this out. All we want for this part of the operation is the top of the keyboard. So we can clean, mask, and paint it. Nice. And that should have been all the screws. So there's some snap tabs that hold it together too. Seems like. So I've finally got the keyboard apart. What I ended up doing was basically holding on to the top here and just kind of pressing these keys in and pushing against it, and it finally cracked real loud like I'd broken it and came apart. How about that? And so we have successfully separated the top from the bottom. It's full of filth in here. So another thing we could do is remove the rest of it from the case. Alright, so those out. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I was hoping would happen. It allows you to remove the whole assembly. Alright, so let's see, we got a zip tie here, we got a cut. And then a spade connector. More than likely that's going to be connected to this casing. And then we've got a connector here for the rest of the keyboard. Let's test the theory, shall we? Our spade connector there. Let's just see. That gets connected to the casing. Yeah. So that's all this casing here gets connected to the spade connector. Sure enough. Looks like brown. Brown is the right connector, green in the middle, and this white or gray or whatever it is on the left. That's already come off some. Here we go. So there you go. Looks like it might have a blank in it, which will keep you from putting it in backwards. That's nice. Alright, this is either going to be awesome or really, really stupid. Huh. I don't see much in between. Right here I'm using a soldering iron to melt the plastic where it was kind of melted together from the factory. So I'm just going to remove the tan bits so that they can be prepped for paint and painted. Alrighty then, let's see if we can make a cable. Okay, so we're back on the keyboard cable. It's a new day. We decided to call it off the other night and go on an ice cream run. That was kind of fun. Anyway, I was thinking about redoing this because I got some different heat shrink tubing. I picked these up at Amazon. But really, looking at it with fresh eyes on another day, it really doesn't look that bad. So I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of give this one little section here, a little shrinkage. And I think that will probably suffice. Just like that. So, yeah, we can start working at the other end of the cable now. I considered trying to take the connector apart, seeing if I could get the connectors opened. That seems like a lot of ifs and maybes, and I think it would be better just to cut it, twist it, solder it together, heat shrink it, and be done with it. So that's the route I'm going to take. So yeah, let's do it that way. So as I see it, you got this last little twist, little curl here at the end of the cable, and then so we'll take and we'll match the last curl up, and I'm thinking right around in here is where we need to cut this. Okay. Now we can get rid of that nasty cable. It's dropping chunks of crap everywhere. I've already showed you how I solder the wires together. There's no need to show that again. We'll just time lapse to the finished product. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and set this in here to where we can make sure we can put the connections in place. So the cable didn't come out too bad. Looks a heck of a lot better than what we had. So I think we're going to end this installment here. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd like to invite you to do so. And in the next episode, we're definitely going to be doing some retro brighting on those keycaps and see what else we can get into after that. So until then, y'all take care.